Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Visit v.org/donate.
Coming to you live from the Superbook Sports Studios in Kettering. You're listening to Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Everybody, welcome in. Kidder and Cav live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Welcome in. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Mr. Kev Nash, welcome.
What up, though? How was the holiday?
What holiday? Oh, yeah. I don't even know what day it is.
It is Hump Day Wednesday.
So it's Thursday.
Yes.
Or Thursday. No, it's Wednesday. Either way.
Yeah.
Hope everyone had a great week. Enjoyed your off day yesterday. Newsflash, now that it actually feels like summer outside when you drink outside, it kind of hits you a little bit differently than maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
As I learned yesterday. So I'm fine. I'm a little slower today than most days, but we're all going to make it work. That's all that matters.
Got to make it happen. Got to make it work.
Excited for today's show. A lot to dive into. The Cincinnati Reds they have 2 more with the Nationals, then 3 with the Brewers for the battle of first place in the NL Central, which the Reds currently sit alone at the top right now. 47 wins. They have 5 games to go. Can they get to 50 wins before the All-Star break? That's been kind of that number we've been tracking, or at least that goal number is, can the Reds get there? We've been tracking that. We'll talk about that coming up. Pretty cool. Charlie Goldsmith with the Cincinnati Enquirer put out a long list of very realistic trade targets that the Reds could pursue at the deadline. And all of them starting pitchers. I think that the Reds are one of the deeper teams in baseball. I'm not trying to take a shot here so early in the show, but there's not many teams that can afford to bat a guy hitting 150 every day in the lineup and it not impact them that much. You could take that as a shot, but I'm being kind of serious, Kev. Like, there's not a lot of teams that can afford to just take a chance on a guy hitting 150 every day. And the Reds can do that because of, what they're deep at in other positions. So I'm fascinated by this list. We'll get to that in a moment, but I want to open up, Kev, taking a look and kind of going through a couple of these that we either say clickbait or headline or clickbait, news or not news. We're live on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. We are live on ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Please go and take advantage of that. Scott Campbell right off the bat on YouTube. He's listening. He's tuning in. He's hanging out. What up, Scott? He goes, let's go Reds. The excitement for the Reds is there. How about your Guards, by the way, last night?
Beat Shaw's Braves.
Beating the Shaw Braves.
Yeah. Extra innings. Yeah, I like it. We got another one versus the Braves again. We are 1 game back of first place and still below 500.
Go Guardians. How you doing? That's how you do. Gotta love the Central, in the American League and the National League. So, all right, got to take my drink of water there. We're off and rolling. Headline or clickbait? We're going to start off with this one. I don't get this. I don't understand this, but ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports that according to an anonymous NFL executive, an NFC executive at that, believes that the Panthers quarterback in Bryce Young is a mental savant. Headline or a clickbait, Kev?
Clickbait. Anytime they put anonymous with it, 9 times out of 10 is clickbait. Like, that is just something for us to read, especially for Carolina Panther fans to get all pumped up about, because the thrill of having the first pick and drafting your quarterback number 1 and your quarterback of the future, that's over because the draft was all the way back in May. So you need something else to keep people's interest before the season starts. So this is 100% clickbait.
I agree. It's clickbait and also an anonymous NFC executive. Gee, who right now is an executive in the NFC? Who cares about the Panthers unless you are the executive of the Panthers? This is clickbait. Of course, this is what they're saying. And I got to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. If I'm a fan of the Panthers, I don't really care if my quarterback is smart or not. I don't care if he's a mental savant. Can he throw? Can he, I guess going with the intelligence factor here, can he, pick up the game quickly, all that stuff? Okay, maybe that goes hand in hand. But I don't want to, if I'm reading headlines about my quarterback in the offseason, I don't really care about that stuff. I care about, man, how's he looking physically? We're worried about his size. We're worried about this. We're worried about that. But he's a mental savant. Great. Is he a great quarterback? I don't care. I don't need him to go win quiz bowl competitions. I need him to win football games. So yes, to me, this is definitely clickbait. Who cares?
Another thing about it is this isn't anything that they weren't saying through the draft process. They said that he was super smart and he processed information very quickly. He understood playbooks, concepts, and route concepts, and yada, yada, yada. Got the ball out fast before guys had started breaking to their routes. We knew all those things going into the draft, and he displayed those things at Alabama for 2 seasons as a starter. So we knew all those things. And also the other thing, we all knew he was small. So everything that's coming out about Bryce Young, we knew for 2 years already. So this is nothing new. He's still small. He's still super smart, processes information very quickly. We'll know more come that first game in September.
Yeah, scoot to your right just a tad, by the way, for the camera side. As I'm telling you that, I'm leaning heavy one way either. So, and that's the other thing too. So think about this: C.J. Stroud, all the stuff that was coming out about him, about those tests and everything. He didn't grade well and all that. Well, if there are reports coming out about how super athletic and super talented and just how impressive he is, if that news is coming out and all you're hearing is the mental savant that is Bryce Young, I'd rather have CJ Stroud, to be quite honest with you. Enjoy your mental savant. That's totally fine. I'll take CJ Stroud any day. So there's that. But all right, moving on. Headline or clickbait. By the way, if you want to jump in the comment section, the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel, jump in there. We are live on those platforms as well as live here on 1410 Wing AM and the wingam.com stream, of course. But you can jump in the comment section and we'll read your interactions throughout this segment. All right, next up, Kev, Josh Allen. He has called out the media, saying that the issues between him and Stephon Diggs and the organization, that, they've all been blown way out of proportion. He goes on to say that the media has blown this so far out of proportion. We're in minicamp. We're not playing a game for 4 months. He doesn't show up for one day. He's still there. Coach asked him to go home. They're in talks. They're trying to resolve some things. They're still talking about it. Let it go. There is no reason to continue talking about it. This is a quote from Josh Allen. So headline or clickbait, is Josh Allen trying to tell media that something that is a big deal is not a big deal?
It's a headline because it is a big deal. And it's a big deal because it seems like Stephon Diggs is disgruntled for the lack of spending additional dollars. He restructured his contract for the Buffalo Bills to do more.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not the only one out there, not force feeding him the ball and everything like that. And he had to get sent home. And also, it's another story because guess what? You guys had super high expectations going into last season, and the Cincinnati Bengals came into your building and beat you down with the run game, with backups on the offensive line. Don't forget that the Bengals rolled out there with 2 backups on the offensive line, and they dominated the Bills in that game. So it's always going to be a headline, especially when you have high expectations and then you go out with a putter into the playoffs. So it's definitely a headline.
Yeah, it's a headline, and it's no one's picking on the Bills. No one's picking on Stephon Diggs. This is a headline no matter what. If A.J. Brown has a blow up in the middle of a big playoff game and storms off the field, and then there's issues heading into the next season, guess what? That's a headline. No one's singling out the Buffalo Bills. You feel singled out because you're the only team that's having drama between your megastar quarterback and your megastar wide receiver. If Jamar Chase storms off the field and gets into a back and forth with Joe Burrow, guess what? They're being picked on too. There's another interview where he said he feels like Buffalo is being picked on. No one's picking on Buffalo. They somehow, even with their roster getting worse from last year, they're still the favorites for a lot of people out there as far as competing with the Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl, yada, yada. No one's picking on the Bills. They're not victims here. This is just the process of where they're at within the next stage. Remember, the honeymoon stage is over in Buffalo. They're no longer the losing Buffalo Bills. They're no longer the Buffalo Bills looking for that next superstar quarterback. They're now a winning Buffalo Bills franchise. They have a superstar quarterback, and they have expectations. And when you add all those elements in there, what you run out of is, well, excuses for not getting the job done. So eventually it's just as simple as results. What are they? And that's what's happening now. And now everyone's feeling the pressure in that locker room. And I think that's what's going to happen in Cincinnati. And I'm not singling them out. It's going to happen in Cleveland. If you get to week 6, 7, 8, when you have expectations and things aren't going well. Now, to Zach Taylor's credit, he's been able to get the Bengals the last 2 years when things aren't going well to rally. But I just mean the Bills are in a different spot than these other teams where the quarterback's paid everything. Now it's just simply about winning. Like, we've paid everyone. We've developed everyone. Now it's just, can we keep the train on the tracks? I think that's what makes this such a huge deal more than any other team out there. So
Agreed.
That's where we're at with that. Headline or clickbait? Kinner and Kev, 1410 Wing AM. Next up, how about this, Kev? Elly De La Cruz has rejected the invite to participate in next week's 2023 Home Run Derby. This, of course, got a lot of people chatting over the weekend. Now, Elly De La Cruz, only three home runs on the season, okay? Only 3 home runs on the season, not necessarily looked at as a big power hitter right now since being called up to the majors. But this was his quote. He goes, I'd rather focus on this season and make sure I'm able to contribute to this team and help this team win. That's Elly De La Cruz, of course, on declining the invite to participate in next week's Home Run Derby. No Elly De La Cruz. He turns down the invite, Kev. Headline or just clickbait?
This is a headline because he's not participating in the actual All-Star game. He wasn't voted in by us as the fans or his peers and everything like that. So we as fans like, all right, what's another way we can get to see him play? Maybe it's the Home Run Derby. There's no like skills competition for baseball. So this would be the only way to get him involved in All-Star weekend and everything like that. But you said it right there. He's really not a home run hitter yet. You know, he's great at what he does, but like him being a home run hitter, that's not exactly what he does. And we talk about this all the time when guys participate in a home run derby, when it's harder to try to hit a home run and then your swing is all kind of jacked up. I'm sure Cincinnati Reds fans would much rather him just come back to Cincinnati and be ready to rock out for the second half of the season than participate in the home run derby.
It's a headline because he's the biggest he's the newest biggest star to emerge into the baseball scene. He came in a little bit too late. I mean, we talked about this earlier in the week where some people had technically said he was a snub in the All-Star casting and all that stuff. I don't believe so. He's only been around for 20 plus games. He hasn't been around long enough to garner any kind of that type of stuff. He is an all-star. He's a superstar. He's the face of the Reds moving forward, and that's all super. But as far as this goes, it's a headline because a big-time star, a popular player, declined the invite, and I think that's a big deal. What I thought, look, it's always with me, the responses. It's all, you have your agent type up responses to tweet out and stuff. And well, it's supposed to calm people down. I'm the one that it always seems to rile up just because I don't like being duped. Don't say I'm doing this for the team. Don't say, hey, I'm focused on this season, because what you do is, so everyone that agrees to participate in the home run derby doesn't care about their team. They don't care about their teammates, that they would rather lose. They'd rather participate in the home run derby and lose than not participate and win. Stop. I had the same kind of take about a month or two ago when Jamar Chase was saying that Joe Burrow, that, he cares about winning. He's not worried about money. So if a quarterback takes every dollar that he has coming to him, so Jalen Hurts, he doesn't care about winning. So that's where I'm at with this. Like, stop with the feel good stuff, but I get it. It gets the fans rallying around him. I saw people on my Facebook page today, Kev. Man, you just got to love this. Just another very, a very professional and a very disciplined superstar. And I'm like, well, if he had accepted the invite, Kev, does that mean he's selfish and that he doesn't care about his team? Like, that's the only negative I would spin on this, is that in typical Kinner form.
I would put it up there with the LeBron James not participating in the dunk contest, Ja Morant not participating in the dunk contest is something we all want to see, but they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it, then don't do it. It's as simple as that, because guess what? If they go out there and it's a dud, people are going to be all up their butt about that too. So if you're not comfortable participating, then don't participate.
All right, last up, speaking of the Cincinnati Bengals, again, Kinner and Cav, 1410 Wing AM, headline or clickbait, as we sit here on 1410 Wing AM. Last up on headline or clickbait, Kev, Joe Burrow and his party have been tight-lipped regarding the ongoing contract negotiations between him and the Bengals. Still no deal is done. It's July, camps and everything are getting underway here in a few weeks. Still no deal is done. Is that headline or clickbait?
Clickbait. Not a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal at all. There's plenty of other guys out there whose deals aren't done. Justin Herbert's deal isn't done. Justin Jefferson's deal isn't done. These things will get worked out eventually. It's not a big deal to me at all.
I'm going to say it's a headline. Every day that goes by without him signing is a headline, because here's how I look at it. What's in the way of it not? Why is it not done yet? Why is it not getting done? So I kind of jotted a couple of these down just to kind of have, like, when you really start to dig into it. Why hasn't the deal gotten done yet? But what is it that Burrow is asking for that the Bengals are pushing back on? All right. Is Burrow asking for too much? Are the Bengals being cheap? What is exactly happening in this scenario? That's why I think it's a headline, because at the end of the day, Bengals fans, we can all agree, even me, the biggest Bengals hater out there, the best thing that's ever happened to this organization, especially in recent history, is Joe Burrow. I mean, it's a completely different franchise. He's already taken you to a Super Bowl. He's going to win an MVP at some point. It could be as early as this season. Like, what is it that you're waiting on? So the Justin Herbert thing you brought up, great point. But they're still like, okay, he doesn't have as much of a resume to go in and make as many demands. Like, I think Joe Burrow and I thought Jalen Hurts was in the same boat. Like, Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts both could go sit down at the negotiating table and say, I've taken you guys to a Super Bowl. We are one of the hottest teams in football because of us. Like, there is nothing. What else do you want us to do? We have done our part. It should be a blank check, and it should be a blank check for Joe Burrow. That's, I guess, where I'm at with this. Not trying to stir the pot, but I do think it's a major headline that he has not signed yet. And I don't think it's leading to anything bad, but I do think that every day that goes by without a contract being signed, it does open the door to more bad things to trickle in. You could say the Eagles were kind of silly to sign so quickly with Jalen Hurts, but there's no distraction now. They're heading into this camp. What are they going to be talking about? There's no distractions with that. I think it's not going to be a major distraction. It's going to be a major talking point that has the opportunity to trickle in to become a problem. That's all I got to say. So I think it's a major headline for those reasons.
The reason I don't is because this is par for the course. The Jalen Hurts contract and the Patrick Mahomes contract, those are the anomalies. Those don't happen every day. These things get drug out all the time. I talked about the example with TJ Watt. We just saw it with Lamar Jackson. We saw it with Dak Prescott. These contract situations always get drawn out to the very last second, just like NBA trade deadline. The guy that, hey, man, I want to get traded. Like Kevin Durant last year. Hey, I want to get traded to the Suns. We talked about that all summer. Doesn't get traded to the Suns. Hey, comes into camp, plays good basketball for the Nets. Guess what? Hey, I want to get traded to the Suns. Trade deadline coming up. Boom, gets traded to the Suns. These things come down to the last minute for whatever reason. If it's on the player and his agent, if it's on the organization, that's why I don't get bent out of shape about it, because 9 times out of 10, these things come down to the deadline. And think about you and your place where you work. You go in there, you ask your boss for a raise, you've been back and forth with your boss for months or potentially years at a time. And then miraculously, the last second, you get a job offer and you say, hey, I'm about to go somewhere else. And miraculously, they find the money out of the blue sky.
What's the weather in Florida right now?
That is exactly how it works in everyday business and definitely happens in sports. That's why I can't get bent out of shape about this until maybe the kickoff to the season, because then that's when, all right, hey, man, if he gets hurt, then we're messing with something. Then we're potentially going to be losing our star quarterback and not even him be able to lose dollars. So that's why I don't get bent out of shape about these type of things.
All right, so there you go. Headline or clickbait in the comment section. Bengals fans, let's have the conversation, not in a trolling way. I'm just curious. Like, it to me, like I said, it's just strange that a deal has not been done yet, because the Eagles, they were like, well, we've seen everything we need to see. Jalen Hurts, here you go. But you're right, though. Those are outliers. There's more Lamar Jackson situations and Dak Prescott situations than there are the Jalen Hurts and that. But the thing is just I put Burrow in that category with those two great quarterbacks, to where like Justin Herbert we don't need to see more, but like he doesn't have as much leverage as what some of the other ones do as far as getting everything he's asking for. Burrow can go in there and just laugh at them and say, you know what? Like, I'm telling you, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to get. And if not, like, and by the way, he was rubbing some elbows with some major people over the weekend. Down. By the way, I have to ask, I feel like I wouldn't be allowed to throw one of these. What is a white party? Kev, I'm just asking. The July 4th white party.
White. You wear all white.
That's a ballsy title of a party in 2023. Like if I send out an invite at work,
these are not
hey, Kinner's throwing an all white party. How is that going to be perceived? Right out. I'm just throwing that out there. But rich people operate differently. So
man, celebs in the building, dressed in all white, looking good for the 4th of July. Good vibes, man. I wish I was there.
So I bring this up because Joe Burrow was on that list. He was there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, Cincinnati, he's tasted the good life. He's experiencing the good life. Like, you guys better hurry up and knock him down. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if there was skyline at this all white party. I have no idea.
I think not. I think they leveled up a little bit.
Kinner and Kev, 1410 Wing AM. We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
It will be mostly sunny today before a chance of rain and thunderstorms later this afternoon. Today's high is 92 degrees. We do have a chance of some rain early this evening and overnight, otherwise cloudy with a low of 69. And on Thursday, we do have a pretty good chance of some rain and thunderstorms and a high of 89 degrees. I'm Heather Pasco for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at gawon'twait.com. That's gawon'twait.com.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at columbusequipment.com.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
At Harley-Davidson of Xenia, the atmosphere is positively electric as we look to the future. Our name may have changed, but Harley-Davidson of Xenia has been locally owned since 1984. Under our new management, the staff in store are buzzing to get you set up for the open road. Whether you're shopping for merchandise, a new bike, or just need some maintenance on your current ride, Harley-Davidson of Xenia is here for you. Visit us online to learn more and to place a reservation on your new bike. hdofxenia.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Did you know that over 90% of male enhancement pills are virtually the same thing that's repackaged, redone over and over again? Why settle for the same old product when you can get something completely different? Something that takes male enhancement into the 21st century. Something that really works. Men, you need to try Noxitril, the explosive, all-natural male enhancement formula that will unlock your performance in the bedroom to a level you could only dream of. Try to imagine Viagra on steroids. Noxitril is so powerful, that's why it took years for it to finally become available to the public without a prescription. So call now and take advantage of our special Noxitril free bottle offer today. Oh yeah, we recommend that you use the Noxitril dose as directed. Think of your partner. We certainly don't want you to overperform in the bedroom.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 800-993-2150, 800-993-2150. Free bottles for a limited time. So call now, 800-993-2150, 800-993-2150.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Fill your shower with the fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM, July 5th.
Wow.
Goodness. What is happening?
Goodness gracious, man.
Hall of Fame game is August 3rd. That's 4 weeks and a day from now.
It's funny. You get excited for NFL preseason. I get excited for college football media days. So we both have our weird things to get excited about. I mean, I get excited about watching a bunch of coaches and players go up there and talk about the season that's on the horizon, while you actually get excited for people playing fake football.
Stop. I'm a wrestling fan, so that would make sense. You know,
Wrestling's real. Wrestling is real. I even though I don't watch wrestling anymore, it is real. Those injuries are real, so it's real.
Well, the injuries are real, but
it's real. Scripted, but real.
First of all, for those mocking the preseason, Kev is just so rude with how he sets that up. It's not that I love preseason football. I just love the fact that preseason means the season's almost here, and we don't have to do list season and all this other stuff, because that's just where it goes. How about this, though? So Matt Digby, Dayton 24/7 now. What up, Matt? Their sports director there, but he just tweeted this out a little bit ago that the first UC Bearcats to be named to the Big 12 football preseason team, defensive lineman Dante Corleone and punter Mason Fletcher. The preseason poll will be announced tomorrow, but I keep forgetting. Yeah, Cincinnati. Yeah. This is their first season, at the table with the Big 12. So pretty exciting stuff. But nonetheless,
that's cool. Very cool.
We opened the show headline or clickbait, and the last one we talked about is just, things are kind of silent right now as far as the contract negotiation with Joe Burrow. The reason that this is such a big deal to me, as we talked about, is just like it's always opens the door to distraction. There was a stretch. You guys got to remember the Ravens situation with Lamar. Their owner had come out and said, look, the quarterbacks always get their money, and we know he's going to get his money, and we're going to figure it out. Look how ugly it had to get. It had to get to, who gets the kids on what weekend type stuff before it finally was figured out, the contract with Lamar. So, and the reason is because at the time when the GM and the owners are coming out and talking, because it sounds good, like, yeah, of course we're going to get this done. But then it comes to the part of getting it done. And the fact, and by the way, there are no headlines out there about this contract. Joe Burrow and his team have said that they're going to be tight-lipped about it, and rightfully so. But sometimes silence is louder than anything you can say, because to me, silence is there's just nothing getting done. And as I said, I said this a little bit ago, why hasn't the deal gotten done? What is Joe Burrow asking for that the Bengals are kind of stiff arming a bit, that they're kind of resisting a bit? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like in negotiations, both sides want something.
Yeah.
And both sides are asking or wanting something that the other one is balking at. And I'm just very curious. I would kill to be a fly in a room on these negotiation talks, as most. All right, what is it that is leading to the pause in this. Like, to me, okay, Joe Burrow, you want to be in Cincinnati for a long, long time. And I believe that. I don't think he's not going anywhere. I'm not saying that. I believe that. Joe Burrow's taking a team to a Super Bowl, back-to-back AFC championship games. If they have even the semi-competent offensive line last year, they're probably back in the Super Bowl for the second straight year. Fantastic, super great. But with
made a tackle on special teams.
Or made a tackle. Yeah, Joseph Asai, don't do a boneheaded play there at the end of regulation. Your team might have a chance, blah, 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 all that. But my point is the Bengals don't have leverage here. Your franchise, you think your franchise is the Bengals, but technically the guy across from you is your franchise. There's a lot of, we use the term franchise quarterback a lot, but there's a lot of teams that their quarterback could leave and that franchise goes on. The Bengals, they weren't relevant. They were the butt end of everyone's jokes. They were just constantly made fun of. And that's with an organization that wins a lot more than we give them credit for.
Mm-hmm.
They have as many AFC North championships as the Steelers and Ravens over the last 10 plus years. Like, it's wild. And I think it's because the other two have Super Bowls. The Bengals don't. But the Bengals don't get the respect that they should, considering all the winning that they have done as a whole. But that's my point, is winning is not only good enough for this franchise. They're still viewed as a joke at times until Burrow got along. So that's all I'm saying is look, the Chiefs did it with Patrick Mahomes, different, as Kev pointed out earlier. That was kind of an isolated, or what'd you call it? An outlier. Yeah. We love outliers. Same thing with the Eagles. But like, both teams said, hey, we know what we got. We know the price of doing business with top tier quarterbacks. Let's just get this out of the way. But in the Ravens negotiation with Lamar, at one point they felt they had control of everything until they didn't, and then it got ugly. That's why I think it's important too. The Bengals, you don't just rush it to rush it, but at the same time, you know it was going to cost a lot to pay Joe Burrow. So what are you waiting on, I guess, is my point. But it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out.
9 times out of 10, it's the years. Like, it always comes down to years. It's not really necessarily going to be about the actual dollar amount, because he's going to get whatever 200 guaranteed, or maybe 210 guaranteed, whatever the number is. It's going to be a high guaranteed number. Is it going to be, say, hey, I want another bite at the apple in 3 years or in 4 years? That's always what it comes down to, because like we talked about, you had the cap guy on the day I was out. I actually had the chance to go back and listen to that episode, and it all makes sense. Like, hey, you got to prove to the league and the players union you have this X amount of dollars in escrow. So whenever somebody decides, hey, we want to look at the numbers, it can be there. So might be a juggling of money and things of that nature, cooking of the books, could be anything.
So the Bengals, they split some of the profits from the Taylor Swift concert over the weekend with the city, by the way. So maybe if you're not a Swiftie, Bengals fans, if Joe Burrow's deal just magically gets done within the next week or two, it could be the Swiftie money. They got it done.
They said, what is $100 million of revenue brought to the city?
Insane. And they split it with the city. Yep. So,
and I mean, think about it. Then next week, or like in 2 weeks, they have the Cincinnati Music Festival coming to Paycor Stadium as well. So that's another infusion of dollars. So yeah, they'll have the money by August. Once all the checks clear.
Yeah, all I gotta say is just don't get too cocky and just say, "Oh, it'll be done." Don't get it done. Oh, it'll get done. But to say that it won't be like Lamar's situation, I mean, you don't know. The Bengals are. The Ravens aren't one of the most cash-rich organizations in football, but they have more money than the Bengals. And they actually have an MVP quarterback, and they have all that stuff. So I'm just saying, the longer this goes on, the more it can just lead to disaster, or just lead to the chaos that happened in Baltimore. It all led to a deal getting done, but man, how much damage was done in that little bit of time. But 518-1410 on Facebook, Sean Matthew. I don't know why the camera went down. 1 second for those watching live on that. There we go. Sean Matthew said, I'm not worried about Burrow's contract. They will get it done. They paid Carson and they paid Andy. Well, I know. Yeah, Sean, by the way, I agree with you. They're going to get it done. That's what we're basically just kind of saying. It's going to get done. But for every second that it's not done, it just keeps that opportunity of chaos open. And that's what I would be concerned about. But let's go to Bob in Riverside. Bob, I didn't think your phone worked outside of October through January, but good to hear from you here in the beautiful month of July.
Hey, I still been listening, man. I just kind of lay in the weeds. And what a day I called to answer that question about Burrow. But before I get to that, a hotter topic would be, I looked at that Michael Rubin list and all the celebrities, Jay-Z and Beyonce and Joey B. And I went through that list about 3 times. There were 2 names that were missing from that. And that's Justin Kenner and Kev Nash.
I agree.
I thought for sure you guys would have been there. I don't know whether you just turned it down, you had things to do, or whatever the case might be. But surely you guys should have been there.
I would tell you this. If I got an invite, I would have been there. If I got an
Justin
invite, I would
really
have been there, and I would not be here today.
I
I'd probably still be recovering.
I had a tea time. So, maybe next year. I'm like Elly De La Cruz. I just turn down great opportunities all the time. So,
There we go. This is I can tell you exactly why I think he hasn't signed yet. First of all, I think the structure and all that stuff is pretty much done. He's waiting for one guy. There's no way he's going to sign before Justin Herbert does. Why would he sign before Justin Herbert and then Justin Herbert gets $1 more than he does? Because that's what's going to happen. When Justin Herbert signs, Joe Burrow and them will sign like
That's
the
a
next
good point. That's a good
week.
point.
That's all it's about.
Is
That's
this a
all
game of
it's
chicken
about.
between the two agents?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's exactly what it is. And, if I'm the Chargers, I don't think he deserves more than Burrow, but just the way the climate is, that's what happens. Whoever signs first, the next guy's going to get more. And that's what it is. I will guarantee you that's what it is. And he ain't going to sign until Herbert signs. And how come Herbert hadn't signed? Because he's waiting to see what Burrow gets.
So it's both. And like I said, like Burrow obviously has more leverage of the two quarterbacks as far as like within their teams. But it's like, you got to, I just wonder at what point one of those quarterbacks says, all right, let's just get this done. Don't want to risk getting hurt, blah, blah, blah. But there's always those little clauses in there that would protect him from certain stuff and all that. But so I just, especially with camp, I was like, man, Kev, it's July 5th already. Camp gets underway here in a few weeks. I'm just kind of surprised that we haven't heard more. I thought this contract stuff would have been done before camp, and it still can be. But I think for the next 3 weeks, it's going to be interesting to see. Do you think, Bob, do you think they get it done before camp kicks off here in a few weeks?
I just think they're waiting on him. And, in camp, what do they do anyway? The Bengals don't never play anybody. They ain't going to play nobody during training camp. They never do. And basically all they're doing is playing catch. So the odds of him getting hurt, anything can happen. But for the most part, and even if he did get hurt, they'd still give him the money. But I think that's exactly what it is. I know a lot of people look at it like, well, Burrow's rival is Patrick Mahomes. No, Burrow's rival is Justin Herbert. He came out in the same draft. I remember they interviewed Burrow one time, and he was talking about Herbert, and they were asking, hey, what do you think about Herbert? And he said, well, I knew when we were coming out, Herbert got all the headlines, and I remember him in high school and da-da-da-da-da. And so this dude is so competitive that, again, that's what it's about. And I think soon as one of them, and I think both of them will sign before the season for sure. But it's just the one-upsmanship. That's to me, that's exactly what it is. I think the structure, now maybe the years, the Bengals may say, we'd like to, do 7 to 10 years. Burrow might say, well, give me about 4 or 5, because the cap's going to go up. But, you can kind of get around that. But he's waiting for that guy to sign. I guarantee you that's what it is. The Bengals aren't stupid. They know. They've been stupid before, but they're not stupid in this particular case. They know where their bread is buttered. They'll get that guy signed, but he's just waiting. He's waiting for Herbert. And another thing I wanted to hit on, that Josh Allen thing, come on, Josh, really? Hey, quit talking about stop it. The season ain't even started. What's the matter with that guy? What, come on, man. Wake up.
Madden cover jinx.
Say so. Yeah, and you say something. Of course, the media is going to even talk about it even more because you said quit talking about it.
Right.
So it's just ridiculous. But hey, next year you guys are on that list. I'm gonna make some calls.
Thank you.
And definitely, Kev. I thought you'd be playing the music.
Listen,
playing the music, man. Come
Listen.
on, man.
Look, I got a little nervous when the invite said you're invited to a white party. I didn't know what a white party was, so. I looked down. I'm like, well, I think I qualify, but I didn't know exactly what a white party was, to be honest for you. So, but now I know. I know.
If I hear Justin's having a white party, I don't know. Yeah, don't go to that.
It's gonna be the Kevin Nash show very quickly. He's gonna be.
All right, later on, fellas.
Take care, Bob.
Later.
Bob in Riverside. Let's go to Michael. Michael, you're on live, sir. Thanks for holding.
Hello, guys.
Mikey.
Hey.
What is up,
How
buddy?
you guys doing today?
Good.
You guys have a nice 4th?
Absolutely. Ate way too much.
Oh, I was good. You took the words right out of my mouth. Kudos to you, Kevin, for saying professional wrestling. Now, I'm not saying I don't know about wrestling today, but my wrestling back years ago, big time wrestling, that was real. And if anybody doubts it, all you have to do is get a picture of Buddy Rogers, strictly just his head, and one of his 2 ears is cauliflower. And I would ask somebody, if you think wrestling is fake, how did Buddy Rogers get a cauliflower ear?
Accidentally got hit?
No, you don't get cauliflower ears overnight. That you take a beating at some point in time. But anyway, I wanted as far as Burrow goes, he holds most of the cards.
Yep.
And I would say he probably in those cards he has 3 out of the 4 aces. And that's not to say the Bengals don't have a little bit of power, but Burrow has most of it. But I want to ask you guys, because I'm a Seahawks fan, how do you think the Seahawks stack up next year or this coming season?
Yep, you're good.
Oh man, the offense is ready. Is Geno going to duplicate what he did last year? I mean, you talk about Metcalf and then the addition of JSN from Ohio State, and also you got to look at the defense. The defense they're trying to get back to the Legion of Boom. That's going to be super difficult to do because I mean, Legion of Boom was one of the best defenses of all time. But I think they got a lot of good pieces on that defense. But for me, it's really all about what can Geno do? Can Geno continue to play at the level he did last year?
Well, Now I've heard that they have a lot of young players. Is that true?
Yeah, the defense is all young guys. Guys. Kobe Bryant from UC, who won the Thorpe Award last year or 2 years ago, that played next to Sauce Gardner. So like they got a ton of young guys in that secondary. They weren't very good on defense last year, but they made a lot of splash plays. So they gave up a lot of yards, but they made
and they got a year
plays
under their belt.
Yeah. So I think the defense will be improved. It's really all about Geno for me if he's going to continue to ascend because Geno's not an old quarterback, especially in today's NFL where quarterbacks are playing into their 40s. I think Geno's only like 32, so he's got a lot of tread left on the tire. Is he going to be the guy that he was last year and continue to get better is the question.
Yeah, Mikey, keep in mind Devin Witherspoon too. They drafted him, of course, and then they brought Bobby Wagner back. They have Draymond Jones, the defensive end.
It all sounds good.
Look, I've said this, I've told this to Kev, but the Seahawks are kind of one of my sleeper teams out of the NFC that I'm just really high up on. For one, quarterback is way above average. I don't think he's an elite quarterback, but he's way above average. So I think they're set there. And then you talked. I mean, I love the run game with Kenneth Walker, and then the 3 receivers with Metcalf, Lockett, and Njigba. I think when you combine that, you look at some of the teams with a lot of weapons out there, the 49ers, the Bengals, the Eagles. I put Seattle right up there with them. I don't think they're as good. Those weapons collectively are better than a lot of those teams, but it puts them up there with them. And I think that can go a long way in the NFC. That's for sure. So I think Seahawks have a good shot.
I got 2 more quick things.
Make it quick.
I don't really think there's anybody a coach in the NFL though that can work with younger players better than Pete Carroll.
I would have mocked that a year or 2 ago, but after what we saw last year, you move on from a franchise. There's not a franchise quarterback out there that you can move on from, and your team just doesn't miss a beat. And yet that happened with Russell Wilson in Seattle. And you can't do that without the trust of the locker room within the coach and Pete Carroll. I think he killed it last year with Seattle. So I'll give you that. I don't know how many coaches could have handle that transition of losing Russell Wilson with the young roster that wasn't expected to do anything. And then the next thing you know, they beat Russell Wilson in week 1 and then go on to make the playoffs and look pretty impressive while doing so.
Yeah.
So I'll give
one more thing. Guess what's out on DVD? Big George Foreman.
You bought it?
I was going to order it, but you know what? It's widescreen, not full screen. I don't care for widescreen.
You can buy it online. You can stream it.
Mikey, do you have cable or are you cordless?
I listen, I'm computer challenged. I'm still stuck in the 20th century.
Well, kudos to you for saying DVD and getting a DVD. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I still might get it, though, if that's all I can get. But anyway, listen, thanks, guys, for taking my call. Appreciate it.
Take care, Mikey.
Okay, bye-bye.
Stream it on Amazon Prime.
Whew. Kenner and Kev, 1410, Wing AM. We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
O'Reilly. Stay cool this summer with AC Pro and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro ready-to-use refrigerant products that include a hose and gauge. Beat the heat before you hit the road with AC Pro at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring because of its irresistible scent and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
This is Matt Crowder live at the gas station on 41st Street, reporting on those skyrocketing gas prices. Excuse me, miss, are you buying less gas now because of the high prices?
Oh, I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute, are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Well, does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, well, there you have it. Stop paying full price for gas. Download the free Upside app and get real cash back every time you buy gas. This is Matt Crowder Radio News Network. Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LANE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LANE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LANE.
A new season is here and an exciting new career is waiting. KTH Parts Industries in St. Paris is now hiring second shift production associates and offers outstanding starting pay at $19.83 per hour. This is an excellent opportunity that offers an attractive benefit package, medical, dental, and 401k. KTH offers the advantage of being a short drive from home, just minutes from Bell Fountain, Troy, Piqua, and Urbana. The position will fill quickly, so please apply now at kth.net. KTH is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Ready for the heat that can't be beat? Stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and pick up the all-new Nashville Hot Chicken Sandwich with a hand-breaded premium chicken breast prepared Nashville hot style and pickles all on a brioche bun. It's Music City flavor made famous. Stop by Lee's and experience music to your taste buds with the Nashville Hot Chicken Sandwich for a great price. It's here for a limited time, so try it while you can. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Do you have an open court case? Your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts is now offering text message and email notifications to help keep you informed of your upcoming court dates. For more information, visit courthouse2u.com. Keeping up with your court dates isn't always easy, but it is important. This service is provided for cases in Montgomery County Municipal Court. Visit courthouse2u.com to sign up today. Brought to you by Clerk of Courts, Mike Foley.
Hey Dayton, have you heard? Chevrolet of Troy has you covered for all your auto service needs. We're proud to offer a state-of-the-art dealership with experienced service, parts, and body shop. In fact, we're the only dealership in Miami County with an on-site body shop. We make it easy with experienced professionals ready to diagnose your vehicle
with the goal to get you back on the road quickly. That's right, Chevrolet of Troy is your best choice for service, parts, and body shop. 1375 South Market Street and online at ChevroletofTroy.com.
Alpha Media Dayton, a leader in digital and broadcast media marketing, has a rare opening in our sales department for a hybrid integrated marketing consultant. If you're a dynamic individual who knows how to build successful partnerships and has a passion for helping local business drive more customers, send us an email, DaytonJobs@alphamediausa.com. That's DaytonJobs@alphamediausa.com or call 937-519-0111. Alpha Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Discover credit cards do something awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned double. See terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Buckeye fans, don't miss Dayton's own Keith Byers every Wednesday at noon on The Keith Byers Show. Presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
518-1410. 518-1410. That's the number that you can call the show, like Bob from Riverside just did, or our guy Mikey. Come a long way since November of 2020 or 21.
Great audio. It's still posted on my Twitter, so if people want to know what you're talking about, they can go watch the video on my Twitter page at @1KevNash.
Yeah, Mikey called me some mean names. Mean names. And it's not a joke. He called me some very mean names, but I think I might have started it. But, who's counting? Who cares? But Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, talking Joe Burrow's contract situation. Not really situation, but just the negotiations. And it's kind of quiet. It's kind of silent. Appreciate the feedback on that. Good stuff coming in the chat section. Steve Keaton says, possibly waiting to see what Herbert gets, talking about what could be leading to Joe Burrow's contract, hiatus, why we're not hearing anything or why nothing has kind of picked up with that. Because I threw out the deal. Like it's easy, so the deal hasn't been done yet. A lot of people say, well, it's not a big deal. Camp's still for another month away, waiting for Herbert and others. But I'm always fascinated by, if you actually think about what's happening is Joe Burrow wants this, and the Bengals have it to give him, and it's just whether they'll give it to him or not. So what is he asking for that's keeping them from agreeing to it? What are they resisting on? What are they not wanting to do? Is he asking for too much? Are they being cheap? I'm fascinated by all that stuff to see kind of what goes down, especially after the fiasco and the circus that was the Baltimore situation. But Steve Keaton on Facebook, Kev, says, one big difference between Burrow and Lamar is that Burrow isn't representing himself. Do you think that the drama that happened in Baltimore, do you think that would have disappeared if Lamar Jackson had an actual agent?
Not really, because what he reportedly was asking for was a fully guaranteed contract. I mean, what's the difference of you saying I want a fully guaranteed contract and your agent saying it? I think it's the same situation. I think you want what you want, no matter who's talking about it. These contracts aren't super extravagant as they once were, or difficult to put together. Like the league and the players union basically have a skeleton of what a contract can and can't be. Like you can't go in there and say, hey, you want to give them a team discount and say, hey man, I'll play for $2. Like you can't do that. So they have a structure of a contract, and then the other small intricate details are worked in there. So things that a lawyer could do. Like it's not necessarily like the agent is there to represent you and get your voice and your point across and things of that nature. I think it really does have to do with everything going on with making sure they have the money in escrow, and what Bob talked about with wanting to be after Herbert. I think that has more to do with it than anything. But I think probably number one is the escrow.
Yeah, that and as far as the agent goes, I mean, it was cool that he tried to go at it alone, Lamar Jackson with his mom, but every single, 98% of players, and I still think it's higher than that, use agents. And I think that if that many players use agents and not many don't use agents, then clearly the numbers are saying you should probably use an agent. I think it would have, I still think it would have got ugly. I just think there would have been someone that were with the experience of saying, hey, look, this is where this is trending. So I highly suggest we probably agree upon this number, or, hey, here's player comps and here's how they're justifying it. Probably stuff that they still are giving to him and his mother, but maybe in a way that maybe I don't know. I don't. I still think it could have been done sooner.
All that stuff is made available through the players union. You get the agent to be the buffer.
Yep.
You paying him to handle all that type of stuff. You're paying him or her to handle all that type of stuff. You're not gonna have to worry about calling and talking numbers and all that type of stuff and go work out.
Yep.
You know, they handle that. You continue to work out and live your life. Like, you got to do all the three of those things. Nah, man, they're worth the 3 to 5% that they handle doing that business for you. Like, you're not at this stage of your life or whatever. If you're a professional athlete paid to that magnitude that a Lamar and Deshaun Watson and all these type of guys, you're not cleaning your house. You have a housekeeper. So why wouldn't you have an agent? Yep. Like, I think that's the only thing about the Lamar Jackson thing that made me like upset. It's like, dude, so it's a lot of wasted energy. You trying to handle all this yourself. Let an agent do it, man.
If anyone, I think Burrow would be better off without an agent, because all Burrow has to do is go sit down and say, so what's going on? What you don't want to give me what? Wait, what? Like, you guys weren't relevant until I got here. What the hell? You know, with the Ravens, they still at least have that whole, like, Lamar, we know you're an MVP, but we've won Super Bowls with significantly less production at the quarterback position. You know, but the Bengals are like, they're desperate. They, you know, but nonetheless. All right. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station. Ron Howard says, if Burrow was going to take a team-friendly contract, why would he wait? Because he's not taking a team-friendly contract. The only way it could be team-friendly is the amount of years. Maybe it's, you know, if it's one of them. I would be very shocked, especially with the collective bargaining agreement coming up again, like the amount of money that's going to be coming in with some of these new TV deals. I highly doubt it's a 10-year deal. It's not going to be a 10-year deal. I know Patrick Mahomes did that. That's great. That was that was the other outlier situation.
Right.
Burrow's not doing a 10-year deal. But Ron, good for you. That's a great point.
What's up, Ron? How you doing, man?
Team-friendly deals, you've already agreed upon, like a team. Like, if you're waiting out Justin Herbert, who's not going to do a team-friendly deal, that right there should show Bengals fans he's not doing a team-friendly deal. And by the way, we need to stop wording it that way. Okay, it makes the Bengals work a little harder around, you know, with other stuff. But like Joe Burrow, stop calling it team-friendly. Joe Burrow is going to get paid market money for quarterback. That's the most important position in all of sports. Someone said no, starting pitching is. No, the Reds are a first place team and they have the worst starting pitching in baseball. So clearly you can overcome bad pitching. You cannot overcome bad quarterback play. You just can't. You have to have an elite quarterback. You could win with average quarterback play. You can't win at all with average quarterback play. You have to have an elite quarterback. It's as simple as that. Ron, good for you. That was a great point by Ron. Even Kev was like, yep, great. Yeah, you even got me and Kev to agree with you. Good for you, Ron.
Hell must have frozen over.
We'll be right back.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Rizza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, You live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Fill your shower with the fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Coming to you live from the Superbook Sports Studios in Kettering. You're listening to Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here. Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Oh, my gosh. So, happy 4th of July, post 4th of July, of course, but like big sporting event yesterday. I hate this sporting event. It's not sports. It's so ridiculous. The hot dog eating contest. It's gross. It's disgusting. It makes me nauseous. Yeah, I don't get it. The same people that complain about, they're force feeding us women's sports. But I can't wait to watch that hot dog eating contest. Like, you guys don't make any damn sense. You get mad when actual sports is put on your TV, but then you lose your minds over a hot dog eating contest. Listen to how ridiculous this is, Kev. Listen, this is the broadcast yesterday. This is like something that should be on the Ocho, and it's getting like actual, like real big time, like Super Bowl type treatment. Listen to the announcer as they close out the broadcast yesterday.
20 years ago, could he beat Kobayashi? And now he's won 16.
It's unbelievable. Wait for it. Makes Bill Russell look.
Yeah, puts Bill Russell, the late, great Bill Russell, in terms of rings. Yep, pedestrian indeed. Although Bill Russell, an all-time great.
Well, at least they said he's an all-time great. That softens the blow of what? Hot dog eating contest, Kev. Thumbs up, thumbs down, or middle finger? Where are you at with this?
Oh, man, if we weren't on camera. Definitely a middle finger. This is, you know what? This is America at its finest. Gluttony at its finest. We're going to watch people scarf down 30, 40, 50, 60 hot dogs and imagine what they're doing after they scarf all those hot dogs down. Disgusting. I've never watched this, and I never will watch this. As a matter of fact, outside of like the Twitter chatter, I don't know anybody that watches this. I was actually in New York, like, I guess it was 4 years ago. Me and the wife went up there for our anniversary. And my aunt, she lives in New Jersey. So my aunt and cousin, they come out to the city. We go to Coney Island. We go hang out in Coney Island. And she's like, oh, they have the big stage still set up. And like, this is Nathan's world famous hot dog eating contest stage and everything like that. And I had the clock to the countdown to the next one. And I could just feel myself getting sick, just standing there thinking about how many hot dogs people have scarfed down at that place. It is disgusting, man. Like, we got to do better. We got to do better. They have a chicken nugget eating one. They have a pizza one. They have French fries. Like, it's just gross, man. It's just gross. We got to do better.
And here's the deal. If it's like a little fun little holiday thing you want to do, like to put on the TV and like almost not like a mocking way, but maybe not so, oh my gosh, Bill Russell has been put to shame because a guy could eat, because he can overeat. When I eat that many hot dogs, I'm fat. But this guy does it, and he puts Bill Russell to shame. Like, what are we doing here? Like, and it's the fact that it's given like actual like Super Bowl type coverage. Like, it's like a big deal. And I'm like, what are we doing? I do not understand how that's a thing. And the thing is, too, I get nauseous watching it. It's not even when I've tried it. I'm going to see what the buzz is about. Nope, I'm not. I'm buzzed and can't get into this. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
You know, I didn't know where you were going as you were setting it up. And you was like talking about a sporting event that you hated. I was like, wait, what happened yesterday? Baseball is going on. The Reds are good. My beloved Guardians beat Shaw's team yesterday. What could he possibly be talking about? Soccer? No, you're talking about a hot dog eating contest. Yeah, have you ever seen the movie Stand By Me?
Why do you do this to me?
Okay.
Every time. So to be nice, no, but okay. I appreciate that you keep trying.
So it's this movie called Stand By Me. Originally, it was called The Body by Stephen King. It got readapted for a movie. So they make this movie. So inside the movie, it takes place like in the 1950s or whatever. So they have one character named Gordy. He's a great storyteller. He's going to eventually grow up to be a writer and everything like that. So he's telling the guys a story one day and talking about a pie eating contest. And our listeners know exactly the scene that I'm talking about. A overweight guy eats a whole bunch of pies and starts to, when you eat way too much all over the place. That's the picture that I get in my mind every time I hear about this hot dog eating contest. Every time I see Joey Chestnuts, I think about that scene. As a matter of fact, I'm going to shoot you that scene so you could have the same disgusting feeling that I have.
How about this? The July 4th hot dog eating contest. So over 23,000 calories with all the hot dogs.
That's it?
68,000 grams of sodium.
Oh.
And 2,200 milligrams cholesterol.
Oh, man.
Woofa. No thanks.
We talked about this off air about the show Real Sports that comes on HBO. One day they had a segment on Joey Chestnuts because I wanted to hear, like, all right, man, does this dude go to the doctor? What does his blood work look like when it gets back? But I couldn't watch it because it started out with him dipping hot dogs in water. So I had to turn it off. I was like, I can't even get to the part that I would be interested in because you've grossed me out.
What is the thing that you eat that maybe other people would find gross?
Nothing.
Like
I have the taste buds of a child.
Kev, just gonna say, Kev will get like a burger and like nothing on it, just meat and bun. I'm like, maybe not that bad, but I'm like
cheese. I'll get cheese on it. I eat things that everybody eats. Like I still eat chicken fingers, man. Like let's be real.
I don't think this is that big a deal, but some of my friends make fun of me for this. I take Oreos and I crush them up and then I just pour milk over them and then I just eat it with a spoon. Now that's like my favorite thing in the entire history of the world.
My God.
You eat burgers dry, dude. Bite me.
I don't like wet stuff, man. I don't like things that are dry should not be wet. So like yesterday, I'm eating some hamburgers and some hot dogs and everything like that. I have a separate plate for my baked beans. I don't want my baked beans touching my hot dog buns. My hot dog buns should be dry.
Interesting.
I know I am weird like that. And
I don't think that's weird. It's an eating quirk. I think a lot of people are like that too. I don't care. If I have chicken and mashed potatoes, I have to dip my chicken in the mashed potatoes. Like I can't I don't know. Also, if you have like chicken, mashed potatoes, and let's just say like corn, do you eat all the corn first, then all the mashed potato, then the chicken, or do you eat a little bit? Okay. Yes. All right.
I am that person. I can't eat something and go on to the next. I finish this, then I go to this. It's very bad. Like I haven't always been like that. It's something I developed over the years and it's gotten aggressively worse. Like now, like if we go out to eat or whatever and we get French fries, I'll eat the French fries first because I'm terrified the French fries will get cold. And we all know cold French fries are disgusting. So I'll scarf those down. I eat those, and then I'll go on to like my burger or whatever. Yeah.
Like when I get wings, I have to have fries with the wings.
Yes.
I don't know because I have to dip the fries in the buffalo sauce. Like that's
fair.
But if I have fries by themselves, I don't like crave the buffalo sauce to dip them in. It doesn't make any sense. I'm just, but if you look at the size of my gut, I don't really, I don't discriminate against a lot of food, to be honest. But yes, Joey Chestnut won his 16th Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Contest in 17 years. Wow. Well, I wonder what year he lost. What a loser. He consumed 62 hot dogs in 10 minutes to clinch his 8th straight mustard belt. In total, Chestnut's 62 hot dogs equate to 18,000 calories, 1,100 total grams of fat, and 1,400 grams of carbohydrates. And the list goes on and on. The bottom line is I'm sitting here calorie counting how much chicken I'm eating from Lee's today. And this dude's eating, let's see, in 10 minutes, 18,000 calories. I'm only allowed to have 1,800 calories a day. I eat 24, but I'm not disciplined enough to stick around that 1,800. That gets a little tough sometimes, but yeah, more power to him.
So what do you think his celebrity net worth is?
So it's like a legitimate thing. I mean, the branding and everything, so he makes, I don't even know. I couldn't even guess.
Over 4 million. I thought it would be higher than that, to be perfect.
For Down and Dogs.
Down and Dogs. He does the chicken wings. Actually, when they opened up a Raising Cane's in Las Vegas, maybe like a year or two ago, he was out there for the grand opening and did that disgusting thing that he does, scarf down a whole bunch of chicken fingers. Yeah.
So where are we at with this Oreos and milk thing? Does anyone else think it's weird? I'm craving it now. I'm actually going to go home and crush up some Oreos, pour some milk over it, and then think about what I'm going to have for dinner. Yeah.
I can't be the only person that eats like this, man. I can't be.
No, I mean, I have nieces and nephews.
And I'm 40.
Speaking of 40, we're going to talk some Reds here in a moment. But no. Kenner and Cav 1410, Wing AM. Gordon Gross says he eats pizza with mustard. I'm not a pizza with ranch guy. I'm not a ranch guy. People that dip their pizza in ranch, I'm like,
No. I never saw that till I got to high school.
Okay.
People started dipping their pizza in ranch and had ranch for French fries. I never saw that till I was in the 9th grade.
I'm trying to think, but pizza with mustard, interesting. Shaw says, I don't think Oreos and milk is bad. I don't do it, but it's all good. It's not just Oreos with milk, all right? There's some people that dip their Oreo. Yeah. Oh, no. You got to crush these babies. You got to let them sit at the bottom of the milk. Man, you feel like absolute crap afterwards. I mean, that's how you know it's a good dessert. That's how you know it's good, is when you just feel horrible afterwards.
I don't like milk either. I don't like milk. I drink almond milk. I don't even drink almond milk. I just have it for my cereal. I'm not a milk drinker.
Nolan Russell, he's an innovator. All right. He says he puts the fork in the Oreo and then just dips the whole cookie in the milk. What if the cookie drops off? Have you thought about that?
Repeat that?
He takes the fork, puts it in the Oreo, probably between.
So it can get totally drenched.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They
call those McFlurries. You can go buy one from McDonald's.
A little different though. It's not the same. Maybe it's the sogginess. People love the word soggy. What's the other word? What's the other word? Moist. Moist and soggy. That's how Kev loves his food. Anyways. All right. Elly De La Cruz.
Y'all are grossing me out.
Elly De La Cruz turns down the invite to participate in next week's Home Run Derby. How many of you agreed with that decision? And how many of you, and I know a lot of you, loved his reasoning? We're going to talk about that. Plus, if Elly De La Cruz continues on this trajectory, and I believe that he is and has already lived up to the billing, got to give him a ton of credit for that. But Cincinnati went from having very dull stars to now mega stars, and now the city has to pick. In the next 2 years, who will be the face of Cincinnati sports, do you think? Joe Burrow right now is the safe answer. Joe Burrow is the face of Cincinnati right now. But in the next 2 years, when you think of professional sports in Cincinnati, Elly De La Cruz, Joe Burrow. Where are we at with that? I know we discussed a few weeks ago, but we weren't on the camera side, so I want to get people's thoughts on this. Open up the phone lines as well. Got a lot of Reds talk coming your way. Kenner and Cav, 1410, Wing AM. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Well, today's your day if you like it hot. Mostly sunny today with a high of 90. Mainly clear skies tonight and a low of 70. Tomorrow, thunderstorms move in with a high of 85. Right now, cloudy skies, 86 degrees. I'm Val Beery for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Carol Wirtz Tire and Auto Service at 730 South Patterson in Dayton, where they treat every vehicle like their own and every customer like family. Online at c-wtire.com.
Don't give in to that constant joint pain. Take control. Take back your quality of life today with help from QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Keith Byers. QC Kinetics is helping people every day, here and across the country. They're amazing non-surgical treatments that repair and restore damaged joint tissue. They use the latest advances in regenerative medicine, taking your own body's healing agents and concentrating them in the right area where you have that agonizing pain. This incredible, non-invasive approach helps you take back control of your body, relieving the pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or back. No invasive surgery, no harmful drugs or steroids, and no downtime. Listen, summertime needs to be about having fun and making memories. Golfing, hiking, enjoying the outdoors. Take control now and start living pain-free again. Call now for your free consultation with QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
By now, you should know Audio Etc. has all the same sales and deals on TVs and projectors as everyone else. But did you know we also have some of the world's best hi-fi? Hi, this is Kirby from Audio Etc. And we do have some of the best home theater, high-fidelity gear on the planet. Not only do we have your favorite brands like Clip speakers and SVS subwoofers, but audiophile greats from Bowers & Wilkins, Kef, NAD, Marantz, Cambridge, Mark Levinson, and plenty of vinyl and tube gear. Plus exotics you only see in the magazines. Stop by today and visit Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom and see and audition the best audio and video it has to offer. While you're in, check out our huge selection of pre-owned vintage gear. A great way to afford great gear otherwise out of reach, or revisit old classics. Audio Etc. Sound advice you can trust. Audio Etc. 551 Congress Park Drive at the corner of Paragon in Centerville, or call 434-9770.
Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Rizza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
A new season is here and an exciting new career is waiting. KTH Parts Industries in St. Paris is now hiring second shift production associates and offers outstanding starting pay at $19.83 per hour. This is an excellent opportunity that offers an attractive benefit package, medical, dental, and 401k. KTH offers the advantage of being a short drive from home, just minutes from Bell Fountain, Troy, Piqua, and Urbana. The position will fill quickly, so please apply now at kth.net. KTH is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Fill your shower with the fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
If you're a sports fan in the Miami Valley, make sure you subscribe to Dayton's ESPN Radio YouTube channel. Buckeyes, Browns, Bengals, local high school sports, Dayton Flyers, Wright State Raiders, and more. Search ESPN Dayton on YouTube and subscribe today.
Welcome back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. The Cincinnati Reds in first place, sitting atop the NL Central. And it sounds kind of wild at this point. I mean, like, look, I keep waiting. Like, I've been one of those, like, cautiously optimistic people. Like, okay, I'm not willing to dive all into the Reds as far as, like, saying they're legitimate. But I have to say this. you don't win 47 games, and they're probably going to get to 49 to 50, in my opinion, but before the All-Star. You don't win 47 to 50 games in the first half of the season if you're not legit. Now, again, your definition of legit could be a couple different things. I don't know. I don't think this is a World Series contending team, but look, bottom line is if they're hot and they're hot at the right time, why not? Because the thing that the Reds have, like the bad pitching is a concern for me. But the reason that they've been able to overcome bad pitching, and I shouldn't say it's been all horrible. I mean, it's been horrible starting pitching, and the bullpen at times looks rough because they've been stretched out over a full game. So there's going to be moments where you look and say, well, they gave up runs here and there. Well, when you're covering, 45% of a game, you're going to be more apt to give up some hits and runs and all that type of stuff. But the bottom line is Nick Lodolo is back to throwing again. It sounds like August. The timeline for the return of Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo could be relatively the same. And I think that's huge because if you get Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green back at the same time, I'm very excited for Graham Ashcraft's start tonight because I think it's a team that I don't think it's a lineup that's going to beat him to shreds. So I think it's a lineup that we're going to find out tonight. If he goes and dominates them and we say, well, he's dominating a bad Nationals team, then, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, he hasn't been dominating even the bad teams he's faced. So I think we're going to learn tonight, okay, Graham Ashcraft, he shook off some of that stuff, kind of was banged up a bit. I'm hoping to see the return of the stuff we saw from him in April and earlier in the season. But if you have Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Graham Ashcraft, and my freaking Lord, the star that has started to develop in front of us in Abbott is pretty impressive. I mean, this guy is unhittable. And what's wild is like he kind of gives up a couple hits. He looks a little rusty his first couple of batters. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's just ramping it up. I mean, he was able to pitch into the 8th inning. I'm more of an old school baseball fan. I love watching starting pitchers go into as deep as the ball game as possible. I didn't like David Bell's decision to pull him, but who cares? Because the bottom line is the Reds went on to win. So to me, watching Abbott emerge to a star is pretty impressive. The thing I hadn't thought about is a lot of times rookies are on innings counts or innings limits throughout the season, Kev. I think it's pretty cool. Apparently today, Nick Kroll and a quote I saw from, a little bit ago, Charlie Goldsmith with the Cincinnati Enquirer, that there is no innings limit as of now being set for Abbott. And I think that's pretty cool that the Reds front office is willing to be a little flexible here. I think if this is a 100-loss team or a team that has no chance of making the playoffs, I think you got to be a little careful. I think you got to, but I would hate for the Reds to all of a sudden lose momentum because you got to start putting limits on some of your rookies. Would it make good business sense? Yes. And what's good for business isn't always good for the fans, and what's good for fans isn't always good for business. But overall, I think the outlook for the Reds, if you can go into the postseason, if they can get there with India, of course, but from pitching standpoint, from Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Graham Ashcraft, and Andrew Abbott, look out. And that's what makes the trade deadline so important. The trade deadline is something that I'm keeping an eye on, and we're going to get into this Burrow and Elly De La Cruz debate in a second, but I just wanted to touch on a few things. I found this fascinating because, it's easy to say, well, the Reds need to make a move, and I'm guilty of that all the time. I say, the Reds need to make a move. Don't wait until August 1st to make a move. Well, someone said, what move? And then I started doing the whole, okay, I've been pretty lazy with this. I don't really have the answer, but that's why I'm admitting that here. But I thought it was pretty cool. So on Twitter, here was these are some potential trade targets for the Cincinnati Reds as the deadline approaches. Charlie Goldsmith, Charlie kills it. He does a great job, but he updated a trade deadline watch list for starting pitchers. And there's some interesting names on here because here's the deal. The Reds aren't trading for starting pitching because they don't have good pitching. They're trading for starting pitching, Kev, because their pitching's banged up.
Okay.
So what you don't want to do is, and what I visualize is, okay, take injuries out of it. If the Reds, Nick Lodolo, Hunter Green, Graham Ashcraft, Andrew Abbott, you've developed all of them, and they're super, super young, and that's your rotation for the next 2, 3, 4 years. Okay? That's fantastic. That means you need to find another piece to put in there. It's maybe some guys for depth that can go, help you in the bullpen, but you can rely on whether it's an opener. Can't believe I'm using that phrasing. If my guy Nick Kirby's watching, I'm sure he'll be very proud of me. But if you need to go the opening route, okay, opener route, fine, whatever. But they have flexibility moving forward. So what you don't want to do is panic, give up top prospects, go get a major arm when that's not a major need. It's a major need right now, but you have to find a happy balance. And the names that are popping up that I really am fascinated about, players that are on team control, have 1 year left on their deal. So basically almost, you're basically just renting them. Names that I find interesting. How about Michael Lorenzen? 31 years old, 1-year deal left. You're not going to have to give up a ton to possibly go get him. And I don't know what giving up a ton is. I would assume anyone that is like some of these major players down in the minors right now. We'll talk about those names more in a moment. But for me, I wouldn't mind a reunification with Michael Lorenzen. And the Reds are going to have so much cap flexibility moving forward that I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that Michael Lorenzen could be a guy that they possibly look to land longer than just the back half of this year because, well, it's a Reds guy. I know he's he's with the Tigers, but he's 31 years old. If that's a guy that's at the back of your rotation or a veteran guy to be in the middle of the rotation to kind of separate, Nick Lodolo, Hunter Green, bam, you put him and Michael Lorenzen, and then you have Abbott and whoever on the other side in Ashcraft. I like that. I think that for me, if I had to pick everyone right away, when you talk about trading, Shane Bieber comes up, 28 years old, 2 years left on his deal. You're going to have to give up a lot. The Guardians aren't just going to hand you to him for some cash and prospects to be named later. Okay. As much as I would love Bieber, I don't think the Reds necessarily need Bieber. You want Bieber, but I don't have the Bieber fever. Let's just put it that way. I like the idea of the Reds going hard after Michael Lorenzen because I think they have enough firepower in the lineup to overcome any pitching deficiencies. Hell, that's why they're in the position they're in anyways. And imagine if they keep that firepower going with the offensive side with some contributions from the rotation and then allow one of the best bullpens in baseball to just be a regular bullpen that's focusing on the back half of games instead of constantly having to come and clean up messes in the fourth inning. So I like where the Reds could potentially go, but I panicked a few weeks ago and started the whole, they need to make a move now. I want them to make a move now. We just watched the Rangers go and get Aroldis Chapman. They didn't sit there and say, we're going to wait. I wish the Reds would be a little bit more aggressive, but that's not who they are. They're on a streak right now of making a lot of good and right decisions. I think Michael Lorenzen would be a fun one. I would love to see him added. Lance Lynn's another name that's being mentioned. He has a 1 year left. He's with the White Sox. But I think Michael Lorenzen fits the Reds more just because they know who he is. He's pitched there. He's had success there. I wouldn't mind that reunification, if you ask me.
Yeah, somebody that's coming back to town, somebody the fans know, the organization knows, and everything like that. That wouldn't be a bad move. As far as good old Shane is concerned, from our beloved Guardians, they're going to deal him. It's just like you talked about. They're going to want everything underneath the sun for him.
And they should. And that's how they've been able to keep going. They've moved on from guys like Bauer. They moved on from a lot of big name pitchers, and they still have a very, very good rotation, and they still have good names coming through. But it's because they're very good at recycling these names, but they have the depth there.
Right.
Something the Reds don't have, at least as of right now. So
yeah. So not if, basically when the Guardians end up trading Shane Bieber. It's not going to be for anybody I've ever heard of. It's not going to be for anybody that's going to make an impact on the roster next year. It's going to be somebody that makes an impact on the roster like 3 years from now. So it is what it is.
We'll see. All right, next up. So I found this interesting that over the weekend it had come out that the Elly De La Cruz, and we talked about it to open the show in our headline or clickbait. Elly De La Cruz, my apologies, rejected an invite to participate in next week's Home Run Derby. I thought he'd be a shoo-in for that because I was like, hey, I a lot of people last week made a big deal when the rosters were announced for the All-Star. The Reds, they're a first-place team. They're the most exciting team in baseball. They got screwed with Alexis Diaz being the only Reds headliner for the National League. I don't think so. Look, this is a much different team now than when they started the year. I saw someone post the lineup for opening day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about some of those names. And I feel like opening day was like ages ago. Like we had opening day for the 2023 season, and I feel like that was not for the 2020. This just seems like a completely different type of vibe than what we started the year with, which has been exciting. But Elly De La Cruz and Matt McClain and a lot of these guys, they've come up a little bit later throughout the season. I'm fine with them not getting into the All-Star game. If they were in, that's fantastic. Great. I don't think anyone got snubbed. But I did think we would see Elly De La Cruz a part of All-Star Week in the Home Run Derby, but he rejected it. He turned it down, got a lot of people talking, of course, and his reason for it, is pretty interesting as well, just because of the fact that, he's putting the team first and the quote that kind of got everyone's attention. Elly De La Cruz, Kev, said, I'd rather focus on this season and make sure I'm able to contribute to this team and help this team win. That was Elly De La Cruz on declining participating in the Home Run Derby. And now everyone's drooling even more over the kid. My goodness. All he cares about is winning. All he cares about is the team. I have no problem with him declining the invite. But, even if you did, it doesn't mean that you're not putting the team first. The other participants, they're not crapping on their fan base and their organization by participating in it. I don't know what the real reason is for not participating in it. I don't think that's it, but that was the souped up version to get everyone doing what they're doing. And holding on to their hearts, and they feel all warm and fuzzy inside, which there's nothing wrong with that. Not everyone's cold-hearted like Kenner over here. Bottom line is, I don't mind him not being in it. I would love to see him in it. All I care about is just keep being the phenom that he's been since being called up. He's lived up to the hype and then some.
Yeah, like I talked about in the first hour, I liken this to us as fans wanting Ja Morant to participate in the dunk contest. LeBron James participated in the dunk contest years ago. It just ain't going to happen. We just need to come to grips with that. It just ain't going to happen because ultimately there's nothing else for the MLB All-Star game. There isn't a base running contest that I'm aware of. Like you was want to watch a dude run real fast around the bases. So there's nothing for him to do. If he declined it, he declined it. Guess what? Next year he'll probably be playing in the big boy game.
Most definitely. I'll be very surprised if he's not part of many more All-Star weekends or All-Star weeks in seasons, ahead. But the home run derby, plus on top of that, only 3 home runs. It's not like, and I know he's capable of hitting the ball to the ballpark, and we know that's a part of his game that has not taken off yet. But to be honest, like where he does a lot of his damage and where he makes his impact is just simple little basic base hits turn into him on third base almost every damn time. Casual singles turn into him on third base every time, just because the way that this team plays the game. I love this style of play. Small ball was considered an old school mindset, not even a year or 2 years ago. And now that is what has fueled this team to be in the position that they are. Keep in mind, they were doing the small ball thing before they started hitting the ball to the ballpark. They were one of the worst home run hitting teams in baseball, along with your Guardians at one point. And now I think they're on a streak of 15 plus games. And I don't have the number in front of me. My apologies, but they're on a streak now where X amount of games straight with hitting the ball to the ballpark. So they're adding power to the small ball approach. This is a dangerous team, and it's because of Elly De La Cruz. And honestly, the MVP of the team has been Matt McClain. Steer has been fantastic. McClain's been the most consistent dude. And then you got the leader, of course, in Jonathan India, who's just killing it right now. 2 home runs yesterday. So it's a very wild and interesting season. I can't believe they're at 47 wins. They got 5 games to go. I predicted they would get to 50 about 2.5-3 weeks ago. Thought maybe I was being a little out there, but here they have 5 games left, 2 with the Nationals, including tonight, and then 3 with the Brewers. Big series. Yes, a chance to get to 50 wins, but they get to 50. They're also still sitting atop the division if that's the case. I'm jacked for this 5-game stretch into the break.
So answer this for me. Maybe you can. Was he known to be a power hitter in the minor league system?
Yeah, he can hit the ball. I mean, not just hit it full. I mean,
Okay.
I saw the distance on some of these home runs, which I really don't care about that. I think someone thought I was ripping John Sadak the other day on the Facebook page. I wasn't. John Sadak is just phenomenal at what he does, but I'm not every time a guy runs after the ball in the outfield, oh man, he tracked that down at certain blah, blah, blah at this pace. I'm like, I don't care, Mr. Sadak. He caught the ball and it's an out. That's all I care about. I don't need to know.
Advanced stats, man.
Joey Votto's on a 0 for 105 streak, but man, Joey Votto's hitting the ball hard. I don't care if he's hitting the ball hard. Put the ball in play, would you? I'd rather a soft tapper up the middle every time than a hard hit fly to right field. I don't care about that. But no, that's not a John. That's just how the game's called today. That's how the younger viewers are watching the game. So excuse me while I continue my get off my lawn. But I wanted to clear that up. There was no hate towards...
Sounded like you're 40.
No. Just an older 33. But I wanted to clear that I was not throwing shade at John Sadak. I was just saying, like, every time I turn on the game, it's that. But it's not. It doesn't mean that they're bad at their job as far as that's concerned. But anyways, I don't mind it. He's going to be a part of these All-Star games a lot moving forward. I thought McClain too. I mean, the Reds are going to have a lot of these guys in these conversations moving forward. That's for sure. But Diaz, he keeps rolling as well. He's capitalizing on every opportunity that comes his way, and there's a reason that he's been there. All right, Elly De La Cruz. Elly De La Cruz is just beyond fun to watch. I mean, he's a pain in the ass for opposing pitchers when he gets on the base paths. Of course, he goes on these streaks where it looks like, he looks like a rookie. And then he has games like yesterday where it's like the game just comes supernatural and easy to him. Once he gets more consistent with looking like that, I don't expect him to go 4 for 4 every night. But there are stretches where he does look like a rookie. And then other times like yesterday, it's like, my gosh, the sky's the limit for this kid. But the sky's the limit. The face of Cincinnati sports, Elly De La Cruz in the next 2 years, in my opinion, my prediction, will be the face of Cincinnati sports in the next 2 years. Do you agree? I don't think many of you will, but let's discuss anyway. 518-1410, Kenner and Kev. We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Now is a great time to schedule a back-to-school dental appointment. Dr. Lori Fitzgerald, president of the Ohio Dental Association, is here to tell us more.
Your child's teeth and gums need the right food, nutrition, and vitamins to grow strong and stay healthy. Help them maintain good oral health by brushing every morning and night, flossing, visiting the dentist twice a year, and developing good eating habits. As kids head back to school, it is important to know that foods and drinks high in sugar, acidity, and other cavity-promoting substances are often low in nutritional value and have the potential to create plaque capable of damaging tooth enamel. A back-to-school dental appointment can diagnose any potential problems and improve your child's oral health. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state, are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care, are bound by the highest ethical standards, and obtain superior ongoing education and training. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association so you know you are being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit oda.org.
This is Lake Gibson of the Montgomery County Clerk of Court's office. I want to remind Montgomery County residents about our Help Center and how we can be of assistance. In addition to providing legal forms and sharing programs and resources, we have also partnered with experts in a variety of fields, such as driver's license reinstatement, expungements, Medicare, Medicaid, and even financial literacy that includes numerous topics. Visit courthouse2u.com to get more information about our Help Center located in the courthouse and our community events throughout the county. Brought to you by Montgomery County Clerk of Courts, Mike Foley.
From supporting local food banks to raising money for those in need, our listeners know they can count on 1410 Wing AM to lend a helping hand. Like thousands of AM radio stations across the country, we take seriously our commitment to our listeners and our community. More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio for help and a connection. In addition to the news, information, and entertainment we provide, we would love to hear what you value most about AM radio. Visit wearebroadcasters.com and tell us how you depend on AM.
Discover credit cards do something awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned, double. See terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Did you know that over 90% of male enhancement pills are virtually the same thing that's repackaged, redone over and over again? Why settle for the same old product when you can get something completely different? Something that takes male enhancement into the 21st century. Something that really works. Men, you need to try Noxitril, the explosive, all-natural male enhancement formula that will unlock your performance in the bedroom to a level you could only dream of. Try to imagine Viagra on steroids. Noxitril is so powerful, that's why it took years for it to finally become available to the public without a prescription. So call now and take advantage of our special Noxitril free bottle offer today. Oh yeah, we recommend that you use the Noxitril dose as directed. Think of your partner. We certainly don't want you to overperform in the bedroom.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 800-993-2150, 800-993-2150. Free bottles for limited time. So call now, 800-993-2150, 800-993-2150.
Fill your shower with the fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel is where you can watch Dayton's only local sports talk show. Hang out with Kinner and Kev weekdays at 3 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. All right. So we're having this debate right now on ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel, 1410 Wing AM, of course. We appreciate all our radio listeners. The Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. However you take the show in, we appreciate it. So let's hit the ground running. Elly De La Cruz has emerged as just a megastar in Cincinnati for the Cincinnati Reds, for a sport that we thought was just kind of dying and kind of disappearing in Cincinnati as Joe Burrow and the football Bengals take over and just kind of reinvigorate the excitement in the city of Cincinnati. All of a sudden, we thought it was just going to be a football city. But then the Reds had to remind everyone that not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say, not so fast. This is a Red city. That this city belongs to the Reds. Like this is a baseball town, nonetheless. And I find this little dynamic to be quite fascinating. Is it weird, Kev? I don't know if it is weird. When the Reds are good, the Bengals are good, and it always, or vice versa. Like it's very rare. You'll have a little stint. I mean, even think back, like the Bengals kind of disappeared after the early 2010s were bad for a while.
Right.
And then reemerge over the last couple of years. The Reds were bad. The Reds were good in the early 2010s. And then they have emerged over the last couple of, or not last couple of years, last couple of months. But for them to get to this point, it was all decisions over the last year and a half. It is wild. I remember asking Phil Castellini and Bob Castellini this at Reds Fest one time. I know you were the Cincinnati Reds, but how much does the activity across the street, how much does that play a role in the urgency to get a winner back? Because when that team's losing and the Reds are losing, it just seems like, okay, well, we're kind of swimming in the same waters. But you saw how the city just embraced Joe Burrow and the Bengals and how the Reds looked like they were getting put on the back burner. And he said, but we focus on the Reds. He gave the political answer like I was going to get anything out of him. But the bottom line is I just find it fascinating that sometimes the timelines for these teams always seem to overlap. And I don't think there's anything that they don't work together on this. There's no rhyme or reason for it, but I do find it wild. I think sometimes when the Bengals are winning the way they are, sometimes the front office with the Reds, they have to be like, all right, we got to figure something out because we can't lose the grip of this city. Because when both are bad, it's still a baseball city. But when both are good, it seems like it leans more football right now. We'll see what happens. But do you find that wild? That's
yeah,
the
it's
case?
very weird. I think it's just a coincidence because you make all these moves and these draft picks or, trade players and, guys come up from the minor league system. You don't know if they're going to pop at the same time. It's just, they popped. Okay, we're rolling now. Like you could think that, but it's really all up to the player if they're going to pop. We talk about so much with the NFL draft because we watch more football than we watch minor league baseball or high school baseball or college baseball for that matter. So we really don't know the guys that are coming up. We have to rely on reports, the people that really cover it on the day-to-day. But we as football fans, we see, hey, man, LSU, man, they're real good with those two wide receivers and Joe Burrow. They're going to kill it when they come to the NFL. We kind of basically know that off the rip.
Yep.
So when guys are busts in the NFL first round picks, we're blown away. We're surprised because we saw them dominate. We saw what made them a first round pick. We saw them dominate in college. So the whole thing in baseball, us as fans, because we're not at every level of the minor league system, whatever they tell us, we basically got to believe. And they told us that these dudes was going to be good, and they're good, and they're popping right now. I think it's just a real coincidence, and it's a good coincidence as that, too.
Yeah, and it's why, but you think about it, like a lot of the LA teams are always, now it's because it's LA, but like, it doesn't surprise me. The Dodgers win a World Series, the Lakers won an NBA championship in the same year. And then you have the hockey team that was doing, it's just like a lot of cities. I do think that although you would think, hey, the Reds, their competition's the Guardians, their competition is the Cubs, their competition are these, whether it's in-state rival or divisional rivals. But no, sometimes I do think the rival that truly exists is a team that's not even in their sport, and they're in competition with sports fans in general. I've also heard that from Reds executives because I remember asking the same pot-stirring question again, does the success of the Bengals put pressure on the Reds? And they said yes. This is Karen Forgas. Love Karen. She sat with us on opening day, but she said yes. She goes, but it's also a win. When when the Bengals are selling out their games and they're at an all-time high as far as like the excitement, that's good for us because that means people still care about sports. So that's how they try to talk their way out of it. It's like, well, yes, we want them at our place, but like it just shows sports fans exist in the city. Well, duh, give them a winner, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you talk about the LA teams. Now that I agree with, because in those franchises, they can make deals. They can trade to make impact players right here, right now, because they have a bigger budget and things of that nature. Like when you're dealing with a smaller market team, they kind of have their way of growing throughout the farm system and things of that nature. When you go that route, it does take a little bit more time. And like you said, it's been 2-3 month span that this has been going on, while Cincinnati Bengals have been going on a 2-year streak. So, for the Reds, I think we still got to wait, see how this season plays out before we can truly say that they're a player.
It's not even being a player this year. They're a player moving forward. Like they have their stars. Like that's why, they haven't even had the success that the Bengals have had yet as far as within their respective sport. But like, there's something about this. We've seen the Reds be competitive in recent years past where they're like, oh, it's close to an 80-win team. They're competitive, but they lack that star power. This is different. They're competitive and they got mega stars on this team. And I think that that's key. And that mega star that, of course, is the face of it all, Mr. Elly De La Cruz. And I got to thinking about this because I was like, man, once Joe Burrow got here, I'm like, there's no way anything is going to come close to Burrow mania. Like Burrow has this city wrapped around his finger. But then I had to be reminded how special the Reds are to the city of Cincinnati and to our region when things are rolling. The problem is it's rarely rolling. But it's rolling right now for whatever that means. I mean, if we're going to hang a banner for almost getting to 50 wins before the All-Star break, then that's a loser mentality on our part, whatever. But I think this is what we're witnessing is something that is bigger picture. It's going to lead to something bigger picture down the road. But over the next 2 years, Kev, Joe Burrow, Elly De La Cruz, the two biggest stars in the city, who will be the face of Cincinnati sports in 2 years? Because right now it's Burrow and he deserves, there's no question about it. And saying if I pick Elly De La Cruz, who I think it will be, that's not me saying that no one cares about Burrow. I just think that I think it's going to be neck and neck. I also think it's a baseball versus football. Football's more popular, but also in the city, if you went to Cincinnati and said you have to keep the Bengals or the Reds, which one are you keeping? I think people keep the Reds. Now remember, 2 years of Burrow mania doesn't erase the nightmare that franchise has been for a long, long time. Let's not pretend like we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys and all that type of stuff, who at least the Bengals have been to a Super Bowl before the Cowboys have the last 30 years. But that's besides the point. Joe Burrow, Elly De La Cruz, the face of pro sports in Cincinnati in the next 2 years is?
This is definitely a Kenner question. This is super difficult because I ultimately want to go with Joe Burrow for multiple reasons, but you bring up a great point. In Cincinnati, hey, man, there ain't no shorting the Reds. Just like up there in New York, you're not going to short the Yankees no matter how good the Giants are doing. Like, they hold their own. They hold their own, and they have a strong fan base. But the reason I'll still go with Joe Burrow is simply because he's a quarterback.
Yep.
He's a quarterback. Like, quarterbacks are, the face of the franchise. They are the face of the NFL. So if this was, I don't know, when Chad Ochocinco was there, if the Reds were like balling like this, I would go with the Reds player. If it was a defensive player that was the best player on the team, if it was a running back, the best player on the team, but a defensive back, I would go with the baseball player. But since it's the quarterback on the most popular sport in the United States, the most popular position, I'm going to still go with the quarterback, which is Joe Burrow.
For me, it's Elly De La Cruz, not because I'm a Bengals hater. Joe Burrow's a mega star. And by the way, whoever is the biggest star in Cincinnati the next 2 years, it doesn't make the other one a bum. I'm going with the fact that the Reds mean more to the city than the Bengals do. The Bengals are a hot commodity right now, but, again, it's the city of Cincinnati. It's the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds have been around way longer, and they've been having way more success a lot longer as far as like World Series and championships and all that type of stuff. But mainly from the standpoint of, you look at the calendar year, when you have spring training that starts in February, all right, spring training, all the chatter, the heat for the season starts picking up in February and doesn't get done until October. 162 games in a year. Every day Elly De La Cruz is playing. We're talking 9 months out of the year where baseball is relevant to where, and it's not as big as football. Now, don't get me wrong, but I do think the longevity of where we're talking about baseball, as long as the Reds are competitive, and I think they're going to be for the next 5 or 6 years with this unit, Elly De La Cruz is going to be the face of that. And as long as they're winning and doing what they're supposed to, Joe Burrow's a megastar. I think Elly De La Cruz is just going to mean more in Cincinnati because of the fact that 162 games. Every day we're talking Elly De La Cruz. Every day we're talking Reds. We're talking Reds from February and hopefully with this group into October. 17 games. 17 regular season games. You're hoping for a stretch into the playoffs and all that stuff. But I also see that this is kind of coming at a weird time. The Bengals, back-to-back AFC championship appearances, Super Bowl appearance, had a chance to get back last year, are favorites to get there again this year, all of that. But their window is shrinking because the QB is about to get paid, the receivers are about to get paid, and I don't think this is going to be a Super Bowl favorite in the next 2 years. I think the Reds have a chance to be a Super Bowl, a World Series contender for the next 4 to 5 to 6 years with this group. Will they hit the blow-up button again in that time frame? Let's not worry about that right now. But for right now, the team control players that the Reds are going to have and the flexibility they're going to have, I think the Reds are a lot more flexible and have a lot more makeup to be competitive long-term in their sport than the Bengals do in theirs, just because of the way the cap works in the NFL. So I'm going to go with Elly De La Cruz. It's no shot at Joe Burrow. It's just the reality of it for right now. I think baseball, 162 games every day. We're talking Elly De La Cruz and the Reds. Football season, it's one game a week. Injuries, if he misses 40% of a season, that's a long time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a big deal. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I think Elly De La Cruz has a shot to be that guy. He's just so different. He doesn't play baseball the way the other stars in baseball play. He plays the game different. Joe Burrow's a star quarterback. That's the heaviest position there. But we'll see what ends up happening as far as that's concerned. Scott Campbell, he goes, I don't follow the Major League Soccer, but FC Cincinnati is playing very well too. Yes, got to give the kickball some love. Christopher Phillips, man, give me a break about that Cowboys shot. They have some, Bengals don't. Hey, relax, Christopher. I'm deep down, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm from Texas. All right, relax. It's been 30 years. It's been 30 years. So anyways. But 518-1410, thoughts on the bigger star in Cincinnati in the next 2 years. The bottom line is, sports fans, a whole calendar year for Reds and Bengals, for Cincinnati fans, this future is bright. And we're going to be talking about positive sports instead of last place and draft picks and rebuilds and all that. That's the cool thing about our region here in Dayton, is we just kind of trickled out. We get the sports trickling over our way. But let's go to our guy, Shaw. Shaw, welcome, sir.
Go Guardians.
Shaw. He's probably Shaw. He probably had to go.
He couldn't face me.
Yeah,
he
Shaw,
couldn't face me.
Shaw, call back. What are you doing? You know how this works. You wait on hold for a bit. I bring you on. You say something that irritates me. I hang up on you. Then the show goes on. Call back, Shaw. We'll get you back on the show as far as that's concerned. All right. So the Cincinnati Reds back in action tonight. Again, they've taken games 1 and 2 from the Washington Nationals. So as we sit here right now, and that's going to be game 3 coming up. No show tomorrow. The Reds in action at 1:00, so they're going to wipe our show out tomorrow. But it's going to be interesting to see if the Reds can go for the sweep against the Nats. I said, hey, take at least 2 or 4 from the Nats, and hopefully take 2 or 3 from the Brewers. But if they could take all 4 from the Nats and take that momentum into that Brew series, which is going to feel like a playoff series once it gets here this weekend, that's going to be big. But Reds lineup tonight, 7:05, first pitch. Coming up this evening, TJ Friedel will get the start in center field, and he'll bat first. Batting second and at shortstop is Matt McClain. At second base, batting third is Jonathan India. Elly De La Cruz will get the nod at third base, and he'll bat fourth. Batting fifth and in right field is Jake Fraley. Joey Votto for 5 is at first base, and what?
Oh, nothing.
He's batting 6th. Spencer Steer, the designated hitter, batting 7th. The catcher behind the plate tonight, Tyler Stevenson, batting 8th, and Will Benson getting the start in left field as he will bat 9th. Graham Ashcraft trying to get the win for the Reds coming up here later on this evening. Yeah, Joey Votto goes like 0 for 105. David Bell puts him in the lineup every single day. Then Joey Votto finally hits the ball out of the ballpark, and what's David Bell do? He sits him yesterday. Makes no dang sense in the world. You knock the ball to the ballpark, we're going to rest you. You don't do your job, you hit 150, pitcher's laughing at you, you're going to be in the lineup every day. No, hopefully that home run kind of shakes Joey Votto out of this funk. I don't think, as bad as he has been, I don't think he's this bad. There's no way. Joey Votto is not a 150 hitter. He's not a 300 hitter anymore, but my gosh, can we at least meet in the middle somewhere? This is a weird scenario. Somebody this with some friends earlier. The Reds were counting on this 100-loss season. They were counting on being bad so that they could do this farewell type of thing for Joey Votto. And now all these young punks have come in and ruined the whole thing.
Gonna get them to the playoffs.
How do you do a farewell season for a 150 hitter when you're winning 47 wins heading into the weekend with the first place showdown with the Brewers? Like, I do think the Reds winning has totally thrown everything off as far as that's concerned. I don't know, but they do find themselves in a weird situation. You can't continue throwing him in the lineup. How long can you go into the season him hitting under 200? You can't do that. You can't be a cutthroat organization and do that. Give the Bengals credit. I was talking about this with some people, with some clients that were in earlier today. Hey, Andy Dalton, you took us to 5 straight playoffs. It was awesome doing business with you, but deuces. Remember, he was pissed at the organization because they didn't even let his agent know. He would have demanded a trade at the deadline when they benched him for, I can't remember the backup quarterback. It was Brandon Allen. I can't remember who it was at the time. It wasn't Brandon Allen, but whoever the backup quarterback was that they traded up to get or something. Bottom line is the Bengals were like, thanks, but deuces, we're out of here. How about Jesse Bates? Hey, you went through a lot of the bad years with us, and now we're finally about to take off into this significant run. Deuces. They're cutthroat. The Bengals are like, hey, we got to make decisions that are going to make us better for the long term. AJ Green, how many times did he say, I want to finish my career in Cincinnati? The Bengals couldn't wait to move on from AJ Green. I give the Bengals that. They are cutthroat and they make the tough decisions. I'll give them that. I have no problem with what they do. I have a problem. The Reds are very sensitive and they seem to hold on to people say, oh, they trade our favorite players away all the time. No, they made good trades. I'm not saying you have to cut Votto or get rid of him, but I do think they're letting the nostalgia of Joey Votto get in the way of good business decisions. You want to have him pinch hit, you want to have him get some at-bats here and there, fine. But this mofo should not be in the lineup every single day. That is ridiculous. I cannot think of another batter that is hitting 150 and consistently getting as many at-bats as he is. I think it's ridiculous. It is what it is, but screaming from my...
You ain't going to hear me complaining.
So, anyways. Christopher Phillips said, he goes, I'm cool, but how many has it been for the Bengals and Browns again? What? Oh, okay. Don't make me hate on one of my teams now, Christopher. Come on now. Ron Howard, congratulations. No Browns talk today. Well, there's a lot of Cincinnati talk. I wanted, Cincinnati fans to feel good about that. I didn't want to remind them about the Browns and the nightmare that it's going to be for them this season. So, I'm just throwing that out there. All right, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, 1410, Wing AM, Reds Nationals coming up later on this evening, 7:05, the first pitch. We'll be right back.